For Steve Cameron, the 1992 Toyota Atlantic season started off a virtual nightmare. With a crash on the streets of Miami and a 22nd place finish at Long Beach, he earned only 3 points in the first 3 races of the season. Then, in May, his Pope Racing team took possession of a new Reynard 92H, and his fortunes changed abruptly. A strong second-place finish at Lime Rock began a streak of 5 podium finishes in 6 races. Today, at Mid-Ohio, Cameron finds himself second in the championship race with only 5 events to go. Will his hot streak carry him to the championship? Stay tuned as ESPN presents the Toyota Atlantic Championship from Mid-Ohio. We're in the rolling hills of north central Ohio. It is a perfect day for auto racing. We're at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for round number 10 of the Toyota Atlantic Championship Series. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed, and if you are looking for a championship race that's going to the wire, you need look no further. Here we are at round number 10, and there are 4 men still with a chance at the championship title. Take a look at the point standings. Chris Smith leads Steve Cameron, Russell Spence, and Stuart Crow. Between the 4 of them, it's 28 points difference. 5 races remaining, and you get 20 points for a victory. So as you can see, it is definitely going to the wire. A man who knows what these 4 gentlemen are feeling is the 1990 Toyota Atlantic champion. Standing on my left, now driving for Robco Racing on the IndyCar circuit, Brian Till. And Brian, evaluate these 4 guys for us.
Well, you've got Chris Smith. He's driving a Swift chassis. He's been good all year long. He's had some mechanical problems, but he's always been there. Next in line is Steve Cameron. Had some problems at the beginning of the year with the Swift chassis, switched to the new Reynard, and he's come on strong. The model of consistency. No wins yet, but always on the podium. Then there's Russell Spence and the new Reynard. Hot and cold. You never know where Russell's going to be. He's had some mechanical problems that have plagued him, but he's usually towards the front, so we can look for him to do well. And then we've got Stuart Crow. Stuart was also in a Swift chassis earlier in the year, but's now driving the new Ralt, and that car has come on strong too, so it could be anybody's race this weekend.
Crow has come on so strong, he's on the pole, and he's with the 3rd member of our broadcast team. Here's Ralph Shaheen.
When it comes to winning races, one of the most important factors is can the driver and the car communicate to each other. Now, Stuart, you're starting off with a new chassis midway through this season. Are you communicating on a good level with this car?
The feedback from this car is superb. Communication's great.
Well, Stuart Crow now has to find out if he can communicate with this car at Mid-Ohio.
Thanks, Ralph, and we've got a perfect day for racing here at Mid-Ohio. 75 degrees, partly cloudy skies, and only a 10% chance of rain. And let's get ready now for round number 10 of the Toyota Atlantic Championship. Let's take a look at the pole position. Stuart Crow at over 103 miles an hour, 1 minute and 18 seconds. And alongside will be Russell Spence from Bradford, England. In row number 2, Chris Smith, current points leader from Palos Verdes Estates, California. He'll be in the Swift chassis. And alongside him, hometown favorite from Hilliard, Ohio, just south of here, Colin Truman. And then in row number 3, it'll be John Miranda. Steady top 10 finisher all season long from Sacramento, California. Alongside him from Willowdale, Ontario, David Empringham. In row number 4, Charles Nearbrook, having a bit of problems this weekend. He's finding himself in the 7th starting position from Dallas, Texas, and alongside another gentleman who's had some problems, especially with his clutch, Jamie Gallus from Albuquerque, New Mexico. And as we take a look now, 2 names that will jump out at you. Steve Cameron all the way back in 10th starting position, and Calvin Fish in the 11th starting position. And as we go down this list, you'll see some other familiar names that will crop up, including Bert Hart from Boca Raton, Florida. Tony Stefanelli further on down the list, as he's had some trouble qualifying this weekend. But great racing conditions, Brian Till, as Mid-Ohio, one of the best courses. This is your home track for a driver to really test his mettle.
Oh, it's a beautiful racetrack, as you said, Marty. It's probably one of the prettiest permanent circuits in the country, if not in the world. It's 2.25 miles, 13 turns, a lot of elevation changes, and several really fast corners on it, so it's a great place to test your mettle, as you said.
As you see the cars coming around on course, you're looking at Bert Hart from Boca Raton, Florida. He is one of 2 drivers carrying our onboard cameras, and as he comes through Thunder Valley, that's the view that he sees. Up under the bridge, a quick little left-hander here, and then in our other car, Steve Cameron, as he is starting 10th on the grid, and you can see the traffic he's going to have to work his way through as we are just about ready to go racing here at Mid-Ohio. And one of the things that really struck me as bizarre, Brian Till, is our pole sitter. He has decided with a left-hand first turn to take the pole on the outside of the course.
Bizarre is a good description for that, Marty. You know, that's kind of strange. Stewart looks at it as that's where the rubber is on the racetrack, but he's starting next to a guy who's done standing starts all his life. It's one of those things where somebody once told me the sun rises in the east, sets in the west, and that guy on the outside always loses. So we'll have to wait and see what happens here at the start.
We'll be ready for the green flag momentarily, and turn 1, to say the least, is going to be interesting. The green light will come on, and it is off to the race, and here we go. Crow immediately comes over, and it pays off.
It worked. It worked. There must have been more rubber down on the track there, or Russell Spence got bogged down a little bit at the start. Whatever happened, Stewart's been able to jump out to a good lead.
Boy, it looked like Spence got caught sleeping. I mean, he's got like 3 car lengths to make up already, and locking him up as they head into Keyhole.
That was kind of amazing. Yeah, I really expected Russell to jump out there a little bit better. Look at that side-by-side through the Keyhole.
Down the long back straightaway here at Mid-Ohio, things trying to get sorted out. Everybody's sort of falling in line right now. Not a lot of dicing for position. The little kink. Now they'll head down into the S's. And again, it is our pole sitter, Stuart Crow, still out in front.
Look at that.
Whoa,
Crow.
Look at how loose he is coming over that top portion of the S's.
Slides there, but it seems to be a controlled slide.
There's John Miranda in the 34, and David Ebringham right behind him.
They're having a good go of it.
That is the battle for
Ebringham a little loose there.
This course is really slick right here in the early going.
Well, it is cool out here today, and, you know, it takes a lap for these tires to warm up. Even though they had their warm-up laps, you know, they sat for just a minute on the grid. They'll cool down a little bit. Ebringham seems to be a little bit loose. He's got Colin Truman all over the back of him.
Now, Truman is the son of the late Jim Truman, who basically redesigned this course and put in all the major improvements to the facility. So if you want to say he owns the track, well, in a way he does.
And Colin, a really good race car driver. He's been out of the sport for a while. He's back into it. He's run a few races this year, and he's done really well. He's showing what he's made of here today, that's for sure.
Now, this is his 3rd start of the year in the number 50 Swift DB4. There again, John Miranda doing a fine job of holding off Ebringham. In fact, stretching it as they come out of Keyhole.
Ebringham's got an interesting line through there. He stays a little bit wide, a little unorthodox.
And now heading down the back straightaway here at Mid-Ohio. There you get the margin between 1st and 2nd. Stuart Crow opening up the lead. But look at the battle for 4th place. That is Ebringham getting around Miranda. So Ebringham moves into 4th position. John Miranda falls back to 5th as they head through the S's.
A nice move there, too. You saw him out-brake him at the end of the straightaway, and that's what you want to do, a nice, clean pass under braking.
There's really 2. Oh, we've got trouble. That is the number 77, that's Zortica. So Sergey is out of this race, and you can see the suspension on the right rear heavily damaged. And he seems to be okay, however, as he is definitely out of this race, on board with Bert Hart. Now, Hart started 15th and is in the process of trying to work his way up through the field.
See Bert there. He's now coming up underneath the Budweiser Bridge. And then we're back on Stuart Crow there coming into turn 1.
So Stuart Crow is our early leader here at round number 10 of the Toyota Atlantic Championship. Stay with us. Back with more. Today's race is brought to you by Toyota Motorsports, where technology on a fast track is built into every Toyota. And by Budweiser, the king of beers, with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. Welcome back to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Marty Breed along with Brian Till and Ralph Shaheen down the pits, and you're looking at the battle for 3rd position. That's David Ebringham. He's in 4th, trying to mow down our current points leader, Chris Smith.
And Chris does not want to see this. The last thing he wants to see is Ebringham in his mirrors, because you just saw Stuart Crow and Russell Spence go by. That's who Chris Smith is battling for the championship. Ebringham realistically isn't in it, so he doesn't want to give points away to anybody that he doesn't have to, and certainly someone that's not in the championship.
So this battle continues as they head up into Keyhole one more time.
Chris gets a good run out of there, but what we've seen in the past is that Effingham seems to have really good straightaway speed. He might have the car trimmed out a little bit more. I don't know. We'll see what he can do down the straightaway here as you get a good look at Stuart Crow and Russell Spence, and then you see our battle right there for third.
Well, this is where Effingham made his pass on Miranda for fourth place. He's not going to be able to make it this time as they head into the S's. Look at this great crowd here on hand for round number 10. Whoa!
Chris is letting it all hang out. He is pressing hard, and he's got to. He's battling for the championship, remember, with those two guys in front of him, and he can't afford to give away points. He's out there racing as hard as he can.
Yeah, but how many times can he afford to wear off that much rubber this early in the race?
Well, that's a good point. You know, if David stays there and gives him a lot of pressure, these Yokohama tires do a real good job, but they could get too hot. Now, here's a good look with Bert Hart. We're on board with him as we come through the S's. We're going to go up through what we used to call the old 10-11 complex and into turn 12. Bert smooth through there. He actually stalled on the grid and is working his way back up from 22nd starting position, so he's doing real good here. He's trying to get back to where he belongs. Up through Thunder Valley and through the left-hand kink there, and he'll be coming into the carousel, which is a very tight 180-degree corner onto the front straightaway. Seems to be making ground on the people in front of him, which you would expect since he had that problem on the starting grid. Up here to turn 1, we'll see if he can make a move.
Right in front of him is Tony Stefanelli. He takes a peek into turn 1, but he can't make it.
Not yet. There's a good out-braking spot just down at the end of this straightaway into what they call the keyhole. It looks like he's going to be able to go around Tony on the outside on his way into the keyhole. Heavy braking here and down to second gear.
Now this is the battle for fifth, ducking on the inside. Look out, that's Charles Neerberg and Colin Truman.
And Neerberg tried that move from way back. Nobody saw it coming, and the only bad thing about a move like that is that you don't see it coming. The guy's not tucked up underneath your wing, and he tries a really late out-braking move like that, and it's hard to keep up with him. And there's a good look riding with Steve Cameron there. He's got a good view of this battle in front of him. Cameron has worked his way up, and he's watching that battle between Neerberg and Truman.
And, of course, Cameron would love to get by both of these drivers if he could. Reason is simple. He needs to pick up the points in the battle for the series championship if he wants to be there at season's end.
There is Harold Heisman and Jamie Gallus as they come through turn number 1.
Jamie's fought a little bit this year. He hasn't run quite as strong as he has in the past, but, you know, he is a great race car driver and certainly a wealth of information to call on with that Gallus Craco IndyCar team.
Jamie running 10th right now in this race, and he has had all kinds of clutch problems during the morning session today, and just having a rough go of it. And back up front, that is the leader, Stuart Crow, and he is opening up a wider margin over the rest of this field here at round number 10 of the Toyota Atlantic Championship. And so far, that brand new chassis of his is just been running on rails. Take a look at this. You'd like to have that kind of lead, wouldn't you?
That's almost a 3-second lead there. He's pulling away from the rest of the field, and it looks like Spence is being caught up by Smith and Effingham.
So stay with us as racing action continues here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We'll be back right after this. Marty Reed and Brian Till back with you, round 10 of the Toyota Atlantic Championship. You're on board with 8th place Steve Cameron. And it gives you a great idea of just how fast these 160-mile-an-hour cars are flying over this 2.25-mile course.
Well, Steve Cameron doing a great job here. He's improved his starting position. He's working his way up. He's still struggling a little bit. You see that he's not quite catching the guys in front of him, but he's trying awfully hard.
The man right in front of him is John Miranda, who has been passed for position by Colin Truman. And he's taking a look on the inside, but not quite enough room there.
Hey, I think he's nibbling away at Miranda a little bit at a time. Miranda has slowly dropped back a little bit, and it looks like Steve could have a run on him. We'll see if he can get a draft off of that Swift down this long straightaway here at Mid-Ohio.
Here he comes.
There he goes.
And he's got him.
Inside. Oh, yeah, well down before the braking zone. I'm wondering if Miranda's not having some kind of an engine problem. He's losing some straightaway speed because Steve just drove by him.
Meanwhile, back up front, Chris Smith unloads one of the tearaways, and it looks as though both he and Effingham have gotten around Spence in the battle for second place.
they've both gotten past him. That's why I was kind of stunned for a second. They've both gotten past him. Spence must have a problem.
He must have a big-time problem. He had a very comfortable lead, and look how far back he already is. There he is now in 4th position. I mean, probably the only one more surprised than us is Russell Spence.
They had caught him a little bit at a time, maybe half a second a lap there for a while, and then all of a sudden they were past him and gone. So Spence obviously was some kind of a problem, and Chris Smith has seen all of David Everingham that he wants to see for the rest of the day.
That's Peter Fossetta right in front of Bert Hart as you're on board, and Hart is moving up. He's back up to 14th. Remember, he stalled at the beginning of the race, was 22nd, and he's picked off everybody in line now, and Fossetta is the next victim.
You know, he wants Peter badly. You know, Bert has a lot of family here, and he's trying to make up kind of atone for some of his sins, and he's hounding Fossetta. He's caught him, and now he just has to decide what to do with him and where he's going to make that move.
Oh, and here is Russell Spence as he has come to a stop on the course. And it looks like it's down around in Thunder Valley, if I'm not mistaken, but this has serious implications on the points, Brian.
Yeah, we knew that he had some kind of a problem, but we didn't know it was quite this big.
Oh, and here is another car going off course. This is the number 59 of Tom Meyer, a rookie out of Macon, Georgia. And he looks to just have a mechanical problem and has parked it for the day. And we're going to get a full course yellow to get Russell Spence off the race course as the pace car has come out here at round number 10 of the Toyota Atlantic Championship. Stay with us. This race has yet to be decided as everything is tightening up. Marty Reed, Brian Till, and Ralph Shaheen with you back at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, round number 10 of the Toyota Atlantic Championship. And an IndyCar race is going to be held here this weekend as well. And Toyota Atlantic has certainly been a great breeding ground for IndyCar racing. In fact, got a quiz for you, Brian Till. Name the 5 competing IndyCar drivers that are former Toyota Atlantic champions.
Hiro Matsushita.
Yeah? You got to hurry. You got to hurry. Scott Goodyear.
Scott Goodyear.
Ted Prappis. Michael Andretti. And
me.
Hey!
It's incredible, isn't it?
You even forgot yourself. Let's go down to Ralph Shaheen. He's caught up with Russell Spence.
Russell, obviously a tough blow to your championship hopes. What went wrong?
I don't know. Straight away from the starting grid it was missing. I didn't get a very good start. But then it seemed clear for a couple of laps. I stayed with Stewart. Just a small misfire up at the hairpin, but then it just got worse and worse till eventually it was just cutting out completely around the back. So it's very unfortunate. But it's a new car. My team did everything they could, so that's just the brakes. Anyway. Thank you.
A disappointing day for Russell Spence. Meanwhile, back on the track, we're going green.
The green flag is out.
Oh boy, and he got on the hammer early again, and there goes Chris Smith around the lap traffic of Mark Folkert, and right behind him, David Everingham gets into turn 1.
Chris would have liked to have seen David get lost in some lap traffic, but it just didn't happen. He is right there.
Colin Truman, the red number 50 behind him in 4th, and he's got to try and close him together. Whoa, it looks like we're going to go 3 wide. Yo, no.
Just 2. Just 2. That is Harold Heisman's sweeping through there. He's gotten in front of Steve Cameron.
And here's a pass for second place. That's Everingham in front of Chris Smith as they come down the backstretch. Can he make it stick? Smith to the inside. They're going to try 2 abreast. No. Everingham closes the door, and this is no fluke. He's already won a race this year at Toronto. He was second at 3 Rivers. And for Chris Smith, well, this is important. Difference between second and third place finish is a total of 2 points. It counts a lot when it gets to the season championship. And that's Gustavo Gutierrez right in front of Bert Hart, and that is the finish line. And here we go through turn 1, Brian.
Yeah, Bert has caught Gustavo, and he's moved up to 12th position, which is great. He's clawing and scratching his way up, see if he can get into the top 10 by the time this is over with. Remember, he had those problems at the start. Gustavo seems to make a little ground on him out of 1 into the keyhole here under some heavy braking. Ooh, Gustavo got a little loose there. See if Bert can make up some ground through here and some ground down the straightaway. Look at Bert is a relaxed kind of guy, though. Look at his left hand on the steering wheel. It doesn't have that typical grip. Oh, no, he's got it. Okay, I was a little confused there. It looked like he was nice and relaxed. Anybody who knows Bert, probably one of the nicest guys on the series, and he is a relaxed kind of guy, but when he gets in a race car, he's just as serious as anybody else.
He donates 10% of all his winnings to a nearby charity, Recreation Unlimited, which is a camp for retarded and physically handicapped children. and that's just south of Mid-Ohio here, down towards Columbus.
There's a view of Harold Heusman we haven't seen all year. He's currently running in 5th place, only a few laps left in the race. You know, 1992 has been a frustrating year. The Norwegian with 7 non-finishes in the first 9 races. His best finish of the year is 6th. But here at Mid-Ohio, it's his teammate Russell Spence who's experienced mechanical difficulties and out of this race. And Harold is chasing Colin Truman for 4th place.
And there is the man they're all trying to catch, and nobody's having any success. That is Stuart Crow, as he is leading here in round number 10 of the Toyota Atlantic Championship at Mid-Ohio. Stay with us. We'll take you to the checkered flag. Today's race is brought to you by Toyota Motorsports, where technology on a fast track is built into every Toyota. This is the battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th positions. It's Chris Smith, followed by Colin Truman, followed by Harold Heusman. And in the straightaway, it looks like Truman reels him in, but then all of a sudden under braking, and it looks like Heusman trying to make a move.
Yeah, Heusman looking at Truman. Truman's the meat in the sandwich. He's trying to get to Chris Smith, but he's got to worry about Heusman behind him. And while all of this is going on, I think Colin is pushing Chris faster and faster. They're actually closing back in on David Ebringham, who had pulled out that big lead in 2nd place. So this freight train is boogieing down the straightaway, if you will, and I think they're reeling in 2nd place.
And this is the last lap for Stuart Crow as he comes up over the S's. Just a few more turns to go, and on the 3rd race on this brand new Ralt chassis, he is going to put it in victory lane unless something drastic happens in about 3 turns.
I mean, he's done a fantastic job. He's gone faster and faster each lap. He's down to about the speed that he qualified at, so Stuart has not been taking it easy by any stretch of the imagination. He's pressing hard for this win.
One more corner, and Stuart Crow will be staring straight at a checkered flag as he will win round number 10 of the Toyota Atlantic Championship, 5th raised into the air here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. The battle for 2nd, it'll be Ebringham right in front of Chris Smith. What a great run between those 2 drivers.
Oh, that was a great battle for Chris Smith, and something that he absolutely had to have. He needed the points. And he had Colin pressing him all the way to the finish. So good job for Chris Smith. And do you think Stewart's happy?
And let's take a look at the final results here at round number 10 of the Toyota Atlantic Championship. Stuart Crow, the winner. David Ebringham in 2nd. And Chris Smith in 3rd. A fine drive for Colin Truman in 4th. And Harold Heusman rounds out the top 5. Then it's Charlie Neerberg. Steve Cameron fights his way back to 7th. That's going to hurt him a little bit in the points, though. And Jamie Gallus in 8th. And John Miranda has a rough day of it, dropping all the way back to 9th. And Bert Hart rallies from that 22nd start back to finish in 10th. As we look at the second 5, you'll notice no Russell Spence on that list. Russell finished 19th in this race, and that's going to really hurt him in the points. Down in victory lane, well, he's got the helmet off, and he's getting ready to drink the champagne. Oh, the sweet taste of success. It belongs to Stuart Crow, and our man is Ralph Shaheen. Ralph?
Stuart, we talked at the beginning of the race about being able to communicate with the car, and it looks like today that you and this car run the same wavelength.
This car was telling jokes down the straightaways. It was just great. We were communicating.
Well, Marty Reed, we talked about it earlier, and it worked for Stuart Crow today.
There it is.
Taking a look at what today's results do to the season-long championship battle, well, Chris Smith still holds the lead over Cameron by 17 points, but it has narrowed. The big change is for 3rd place. Stuart Crow, with his win, has now moved ahead of Russell Spence. Crow with 97 and Spence with 84. That's going to do it for round number 10 of the Toyota Atlantic Championship. For Ralph Shaheen down the pits, Brian Till, I'm Marty Reed. Thanks for joining us.